Hello, my name is Dr. Jazz, and today I'm going to show you eye Qigong. So let's begin. This Qigong can be really beneficial for any of you who may have floaters in your eyes, cataracts, macular degeneration, diabetes, even the dark circles under your eyes. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something called Qigong. Qi means energy, Gong means work. We're going to do energy work on our bodies today. So to begin, we're going to start tapping at kidney 27. It's about halfway between the clavicle ends, right in the middle there. This is where the kidney channel ends, but there's an internal branch that goes up to the eyes. So we have access to treating the eyes from this acupuncture point. So if you're driving late at night, you can massage this point, but make sure you keep one hand on the wheel, okay? So after we tap here, we're going to come up and we're going to gently tap around the face. So we're going to tap right here. This is the end of the stomach channel. We're going to come around and we're going to tap on the sides. This is the gallbladder channel. We're going to come and we're going to tap in the middle. This is an extra point I'll talk about in a minute. And then we're going to tap in the middle, and this is the urinary bladder. So after we've done that tapping, now we're going to press. Okay, so we're going to warm up our palms and we're going to press on all those points that we just tapped. Okay, and we're going to press the heels of our hands onto our cheekbones, and we're going to press the tops of our hands onto our brow bone, and we're going to push our fingers down, and that's going to stimulate some of the liver neuro parts of the brain, the neurovascular point at the forehead on the hairline. So we're going to bring in light, or this is where we bring in light, but we're going to nurture and support all the meridians that surround the eyes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to rub our hands together, and you're going to gently press over your face, or onto your face, over your eyes. So again, I'm making that cup and I'm pressing out to the cheekbones, onto the eyebrows, and then I'm pushing with my fingers down into that hairline to stimulate some of those acupuncture points. This is wonderful because here we are giving ourselves darkness. Sometimes you need to shut the brain down, turn off the computer, turn off your cell phone, and let it reset. This is how we reset our brains. So we're just going to do it for a few minutes here, but you're welcome to do this longer. Again, we're not pressing on the actual eyeballs, just on the bones around the body. And now we can do some deep breathing while we're here. So one of the Taoist traditions is to stick your tongue to the roof of your mouth, just behind your teeth. And you're going to inhale and exhale. So you'll inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. One more. Good. And relax. Come back out into the light. This also helps stimulate the vagus nerve, not only by doing the breathing, but by sticking our tongue to the roof of our mouth, just behind the teeth. More on that in other videos. So next, while we're here, we're going to rotate our hands, move them to cup over the ears, and where your fingers land, that is a point we call gallbladder 19. So we don't have to keep pressing on the ears, but where those fingers land is kind of this flat part in the back of the brain, or the back of the head, excuse me, and it stimulates the back of the brain. And guess what? This is where the eyes connect into the brain, right? So we can stimulate the eyes from the back of the head. We're completely opposite, right? If you stuck a pole right through my eyes, it would come out where my fingers are. So if it's tender, then it probably means that you need this. Or you can tap on it if rubbing it is too uncomfortable. This helps with the visual cortex. This is useful for muscles, coordination problems, especially with eye conditions from things such as MS or Parkinson's. Okay, good. And you can let that go. Now we're going to do the eyebrow pinch and pull. We're going to make some space for our eyeballs. And we're going to help communicate with all those meridians that we just discussed. So you're going to take your pincher fingers, and you're going to pull your eyebrow away from your face. If that hurts, that means you need this. Don't hurt yourself, but feel how sore it can be in some parts and not in the other. It means that the muscles around your eyes are tight and need to be loosened up. That might be why your eyes are tired, you have difficult seeing, you might have vision issues. This simple exercise can help relieve some of that tension, some of that discomfort. All right, so we're doing this 3 times, starting inward, working our way outward. Good. Now we're going to work on the spindle cells. So now we're going to do tiny little pinches. We're gently going to pinch the eyelids. You can gently pull them off the eyes, and this resets those spindle muscles inside the brain. Okay, it resets all the cranial nerves that go to the eyes. So it's not intended to be painful. Don't use too much pressure. Gentle pinches to reset the neurological signal, excuse me. So now we're going to do some eyeball circles. So you're going to keep your head still, and you're going to move your eyes. Doesn't matter where you start or which direction you go, we're going to go both ways. So looking up, letting your eyes go all the way around your periphery. We'll do that twice in one direction, and we'll go the opposite direction. Now I want you to notice if there's any areas where your eyes skip. Those are areas where there might be weakness in the muscles. So continue doing this until you don't skip, right? And if you get dizzy, then stop too. So that can be diagnostic for you as well. It can also shift your mood. So if you find that you are in a mood that you do not like, do some eye circles, and it's gonna kind of switch you out of that mindset and get you into a different frame of mind. Nice, isn't it? All right, so now that we've worked with some of the nerves to the eyes, we're going to work with something called the figure 8s. Okay, so we're going to start here at the 3rd eye. This is our midpoint of the figure 8, and you can do one of 2 things. You can either use your fingers and gently rub along your face in a figure 8, or if that's too much, you can have your fingers away. We call this the beak in Qigong, and you can just slowly move around the eyes, but not actually touching, whichever you prefer. And again, it doesn't matter which direction you go or where you start, as long as you do it both ways equally, right? So the reason this is important is because of what we call the optic chiasm. Have you heard about that before? So this is where the right and the left brain crosses, and vice versa, where the left and the right brain cross. And what we're doing is we're helping nourish, support, and stimulate that part of our brain. So on the medial side of the insides of our eyes, you can keep going, we have these nerves that go all the way back and innervate that optic chiasm, where there's a crossing that happens inside of our brain. So this technique supports that crossover function and reestablishes it. But it also does something else. This figure 8 is an energetic imprint. What does that mean? Think about it. It shows up in all of our cells. Wait, where does it show up in the cells? In our DNA, right? So if you've ever seen a picture of the DNA, you see the double helix. It's just a series of figure 8s redundantly going over themselves, right? So they're repeating figure 8s inside of our cells. And so now we're repeating that outside of our cells, right? Another version or another technique that you can do while we're on this theme is to do little ones over each eyeball. So you can do just tiny little figure 8s, again, in both directions. Doesn't matter how many you do, doesn't matter which direction you go, as long as you do them, right? I like to do sets of 3. In Taoism, 3 is a lucky number, and that's where we start. Okay, so now that we've done the figure 8s, we can do the final technique, which is called eyelid tapping. We're going to use the large intestine finger, which is this finger, and the large intestine is about letting things go. So we're letting go any imbalances that we might have in the eyes, right? So you're going to start, and you're going to gently press and just set your excuse me, your finger on the eye, and you're just going to tap with your other finger, okay? It's just gentle. It should not hurt. If you have any macular degeneration or cataract, maybe you want to work on the other ones first. And then we're going to do the other eyeball, same thing, gently putting the finger on the eye and just gently tapping. So what we're doing is we're sending vibration down those nerve pathways, and we're stimulating the eyes, we're waking up the brain, and we are energizing our body simply by doing these meditations. So once again, my name is Dr. Jaz. Thank you for joining me here today. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll be able to use these Qigong techniques to help you guide yourself toward health. So thank you once again for joining me on a journey toward